Okay, now we're going to do a rapid fire here. This thing I'm about to teach you here is new. It's on that end of the year test. I didn't teach it before. I didn't see a whole lot of value. The state disagrees. So I don't want any comments about how dumb it is, okay, and how pointless, because yeah, it seems rather pointless when you're doing it. The difference of Ann's height and Jay's height is half of Jay's height. Remember, and you have to write an equation that represents Ann's height. So at the end of the problem, you need to get what Ann's height equals, but you're not given any numbers. You have to work without giving actual values for it. Now here's how you start your equations. Find the word is, and that's where your equals is at. Now look on this side of is. Just read on this side is a difference of Ann's height and Jay's height. So you got use the variable for names, and then difference means minus, and then J. Okay. Now after is it says half of Jay's height. All you do here is write 1/2 J, because half of Jay's height is like 1/2 times J. Now you have to get the a variable by itself, okay? That's over here, so get that j out of there. And why don't you just put plus j on this side after everything, okay? Now a is by itself, okay? That's good. I'm going to slap a 1 here because I can add the 1/2 and the 1 because they both are multiplied by j. They both have a j connected to them. So I'll put j right there. Take 1/2 plus 1, and that is 1 1/2. That's your answer. A equals 1 1/2 J. Okay, these don't all work. They're not all cookie cutters. The difference of Bob's height and Tom's height is 1/3. So find that is, you have to come up with Tom's height, okay, over here. Okay, again. Bob, the difference means minus. You put B first and T second. You got to put them in the order they appear. Now over here, 1/3 of Bob's height, that's written as 1/3 B. We have to get Todd's height by itself, okay? So I have to get the T by itself. Well, here's the deal, okay? We're going to subtract the B. The B's positive. See, up here the J was negative, so I would add that. But here the B's positive, so we're going to subtract B and just put that after it, okay? And you're going to put a 1, but you don't go down here yet, and here's why, because your T has a negative in front of it, okay? So you're going to take one step. There's one extra step to it, not a hard one, but now over here you're going to take 1/3 minus 1, because they both have B's, so you just do the math there. That's negative 2/3 B. Now, how do you make that positive T instead of negative? Well, very easily. You make it positive, and then you switch that to positive. So T is equal to 2/3 B. Okay, the next one. The difference of Jill's height and Sue's height is 1/4 of Sue's height. So there's that is. Okay, difference minus and J minus S. Now, fraction of Sue's height, you just write 1/4 S. We have to get Jill's height, but the J by itself. Now, my J this time, okay, look at your S. You have to get rid of the other letter. It's a negative, so you're going to add S. Then add it here. Always put the 1 in front quickly then, okay? Now, J is a positive, so I can come right down here. I don't have to do that sign switch, okay? So I take 1/4 plus 1, and that's 1 1/4. 1 1/4 S. Okay, then the last one, the difference of Bill's height and Jim's height is 1/5 of Bill's height. So you really don't, okay, equals. So difference B minus, and then is right there, B minus J, okay? 1/5 of B, okay? Now we have to get Jim by himself. So that J has to be by itself. So we have to get rid of the other letter, okay? And also, We have to get rid of that other letter. So it's a positive b, so we're going to subtract b and then put it behind. And always slap a 1 there, then right there. But you're not ready to come down here because you see the j has a negative in front of it. But you can combine like terms here. 1/5 minus 1. Okay, negative 4/5. I should not see any negatives down here in the corner. Okay, I know there's negatives here, but you're about to eliminate them. Make that positive, and then that would go positive on the other side. It's like what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So j is now positive by itself. It's equal to 4/5 b. Use the ABC function to add. So again, you write it out. Pretty easy. Write out equals, minus, the variable's minus, and then fraction of the other variable. Know the one you have to get by itself. Okay, it says it right there. Get rid of the other letter. If it's negative, you add it. If it's positive, you subtract it. And then slap a 1, you'll be able to combine like terms. If that variable left over still has a negative, then you need to do the sign switch. Okay? Let me know if you have a question on those. Okay, now these, I don't really care if you watch the whole video on these. Okay? You can go work on the back side of this sheet when you're ready. Marcus works at a local store. Each week he earns $4 plus 3% commission on his sales. Find his earnings if his sales are $2,500. Now, I know you see the percent. You do not write this. Don't write this. That's not how commission works. That's how a percent every year works, okay? Commission's a different ballgame. We're going to set up proportions with the 100%. Well, he gets to take home 3% of his sales, okay? Now, here's how you align your commission, okay? The 100% represents your sales. That's how much you sell. When a guy sells a car, he doesn't get to keep all the money, okay? He only earns a small percent of it, which should be like 3%. This is how much he earns, okay? Now, I'm giving his sale. You're wondering, what about the 400? We'll deal with that here in a second. At the end, we just plus 400, and that gives me my answer. But we have to find out how much he makes, because he always makes 400. 400 he makes no matter what. His sales are $2,500, okay? And I put X here, and now I can cross multiply and divide. So 3 times 2,500 divided by 100 is $75. But remember, he makes 400 no matter what, so that's going to be, he made $475, okay? $600 you make, plus 5% commission on sales. Find the earnings for $3,000, okay? So I write 600 down here, plus, and then I need to align a proportion. So it's 5%, 100%. 100% represents his sales. The 5% represents his earnings. That's how commission works. So his sales were $3,000, but he doesn't keep all of it. He just gets to keep 5% of it. So I take 5 times 3,000 divided by 100, and I get 150, but that's not the answer because I got to remember to add his base pay on it. That's $750. Okay, $1,000 plus 8% commission on sales. Find earnings of $2,000 of sales, okay? So 8%. Now remember, $1,000 I align here. And I'm essentially have to figure out what 8% of his sales are. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how much we earn, and I know my sales 2,000. So I take 8 times 2,000 divided by 100, 160. So it's $1,160. Okay, 100%, okay, 4%. Now you can jot down your 500 plus, and again, this doesn't happen every year. That's why we're not aligning that equation there. That's when it's a percent per year, a percent per period of time. When there's time to go with it, there's no time with this. Okay, so earnings, sales. Okay. So $1,800 is your sales, but you don't get to keep all of that. You just get to keep a portion of that, which you can find by cross multiply and divide. So 4 times 1,800 divided by 100, you get to keep $72. So 500 plus 72 is 572. Okay, pause the video, do the back half. Now I want to remind you how to simplify these expressions. Okay, you don't have any adding operators, no subtracting operators, so you align your 3 things like that. On top of the fraction, you got a base x and a base y, no numerical bases. On bottom, you have a base x too, but since we've already written that on top, we don't need to put it on bottom. So I see 2 x's, they're on opposite sides, okay? So I'm going to put x equals, and I'll put a little power here, question mark. That's found by figuring the top and subtracting the bottom. T minus b. So x on top is to the 4th, but it has to be distributed to -3, so that's -12. The x on the bottom is to the 3rd, but that's also in the parentheses, so we got to distribute 3 to -3, and that'd be -9. If you're minusing a negative, it goes plus plus, and that's -3. Now your y, there's just one single y, so I don't need to do this stuff right here. You just distribute -2 times -3 is 6. Now the x goes to the bottom, so its power goes positive, and y to the 6 on top. Now you can't evaluate those because they're variables, so that's your answer. And these all end up being cookie cutter. A times B, you don't need to write B on the bottom because you already wrote on top. Now if you had like an M on bottom, you'd write M on the bottom. So A, there's only one A, it's to the 2nd, but it's got to be distributed to the -4, so that's -8. Now there's 2 different B's, one on the numerator, one on the denominator, so I'm going to put B question mark equals top minus bottom. So the B on top, I'll take -6 times, you got, don't put -6 because you got to distribute. -6 times -4 is 24. And the B on the bottom, -3 times -4 is 12, so that's 24 minus 12, which is 12. So now it's the B that stays in the numerator, because I don't want to move it, then I'll have to make its exponent negative. That's precisely what I don't want to do. A goes to the bottom where it becomes positive. So B to the 12th, A to the 8th. Okay, C and D. C times D. C negative. There's 2 C's, so to figure out one on top, one on bottom. Question mark equals top minus bottom. Okay. Okay, so C. -2 times -7 is 14. -3 times -7 is 21. 14 minus 21 is -7 for the C. Now there's only a single D factor. It'd be to the -28th power. Both these go to the bottom now. And if everything goes to the bottom, you need to put a 1 on the top because you need something to go there. So it's 1 over C to the 7th times D to the power of 28. Okay, you got M times N. Okay, there's 2 M's, so to figure out M's power when they're on opposite sides of a dividing line, okay, M is equal to the top, otherwise known as the numerator exponent, minus the denominator exponent. Because division kind of goes with subtraction when you're figuring exponents. If they're across from each other, that's multiplying, so I just add them right there. So the first M, 3 times 2 is 6. Bottom, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. 6 plus 8 ends up 14. Now the n, I just have a single factor of n. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, so that positive stays on top, but that negative has to go to the bottom. Okay, you pause the video, work on those. Now the last one. Now this is the same concept, but you're not going to have a top minus bottom because there is no bottom. Your three variable factors are m, n, and p. Now my m's, there's two factors of m. They're on top, so that's multiplied, so that means we add the exponents. They have m to the fourth. Now we look outside that parentheses, there's nothing there. You can put a 1 or just leave it, but 4 times 1 is 4. My other factor of m's to the first, okay, outside would be a 1. 1 times 1 is 1, so 4 plus 1 is 5. Easy. Now how many n factors do we have? We have 2, okay? Negative 1 times 1, and again, they're side by side, so that means multiplying. So when they were divided on the other assignment, okay, we were doing the minus up there, but now that they're side by side multiply, we're going to do the addition. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, 1, and you can put a 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So if you get a 0, you can take out that factor. Now p, you got two factors of p multiplied together, so we add right here. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Negative 4. Now the m stays on top, with the p's going downstairs where we can rewrite its exponent as positive. You have m to the fifth, p to the fourth. Okay, we got x times y times z. Okay, everything's on top to start with. Okay, so that means I won't have to mess around up here trying to figure out the top minus bottom. Okay, I put a 1. If you outside don't have powers 1, so x's, there's two factors of x. 3 times 1 is 3, and then plus 1 times 1 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, y. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2. Plus, and the other one's 6 times 1 is 6, so 4. Z, there's only a single factor of z, okay? Or actually, there's another y, my bad, there's another y. I screwed that up, okay? Negative 2 plus 6 plus, and then negative 4, okay? So there were three factors of y, all multiplied, so we add them all, okay? So negative 2 plus 6 plus negative 4 is actually 0, okay? And again, then that factor is now canceled. Because anything to the 0 power is 1. If I take 5 to the 0, it's 1. 50 to the 0 is 1, okay? Anything to the 0 is 1. Even if it's a letter, I know it's going to be 1, so we just take it out. Now z, there's only this factor of z here. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, neither one of these are negatives, so we don't move anything. We don't need to rewrite it, and that's essentially the answer. Okay, A, B, and C. Write them in the order in the alphabet. How many factors of A? There's 2. This would be the 1, outside's a 1, so that's 1. There's another A factor, plus 4 times 1 is 4. Now again, I'm not doing that top minus bottom nonsense because they're side by side, okay? They're not, it doesn't go from the top to the bottom. There's no division at this point, okay? 5, B. You got two factors of B. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And then my C, got two factors of C. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and then 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. that has to move to the bottom, that factor does. So a to the fifth times c to the second, b goes down where it becomes a positive 2. Then you can rewrite it as a positive exponent. A to the fifth times c to the second, then b to the second. Okay, then the last one, D, E, F. Okay, D, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. There's another D factor there. 1 times 1 is 1, so add 1. Any more D factors? Nope. So negative 2. It's just a straight plus line when they're all, because all this is multiplication. There is no division because there's nothing under there, so that means there's no minus property. E, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And then my other E factor, there's another one. It's a 1 and a 1, so that'd be to the first, and that'd be negative 1. Now F, okay, there's 2 F factors, both on top, so I do a straight plus. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 plus, okay, and then 5 times 1 is 5. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1, okay. Okay, you got to move those down to the bottom. So D goes to the bottom where it can be rewritten as positive 2. E to the bottom, rewrite that as 1, and then the F is on top. Okay, and then you just leave all of them. You can't really, sometimes if we have things we can actually use, the exponents we can figure out, we do, but we don't on this.